Buddy, good morning.
Good morning.
You made it. Let's go.
Happening.
How are you?
Fantastic. Yourself?
All right. You got a coffee? Yeah, there we go. Everyone's got their coffees.
I like the background.
Yeah, so Ben, we do. I don't know if you know what's going on, but we're doing like an every Sunday check-in. So the three of us have started a little panel of the three of us, and it's something for everyone to enjoy, a little almost like podcast style. And there will be guests and advancements as we continue. But we're gonna start this off as yeah, buddy, no worries. No, that's why there might be other people that have that same question, right? And so yeah, everyone's always included. But for now, we're gonna slowly advance just to kind of like have like a feeler. And yeah, it's a new thing the three of us are doing, and we appreciate everyone showing up because, like the sticker says, the mental health aspect of it does matter. And streaming every day is a little bit of a beast. And even being on TikTok every day, even on the other side of the fence, can be a lot, right? So it's a good thing to kind of touch base once a week and see what we can do with this, because there's going to be a lot of people out there that need to be a part of this, might not even know yet. So if you guys could take a moment and share it out to everyone. If there's anyone you think should be here, that'd be awesome. And thanks.
Good morning.
What's up, White Boss?
Morning, Sundays, stuff. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
I'm working on trying to get my phone a little better because I didn't like the position.
Yeah, you can tell we're all professionals. We're still trying to get set up.
No stress. Anybody, seriously, we're not here to stress. This is a no worry about anything kind of morning. Appreciate everybody showing up and looking forward to this, to being a part of it, because your excitement helps. When you guys tell us how excited you guys are about this, that helps amp us up.
There we go. I think it's way better. I love it.
Is that sticker in an okay spot for everybody?
It's fine for me. Looks okay. It's just under my name.
Perfect. I know it's slightly different for everybody, so.
Yeah, on my screen it just blocks his name.
Yeah, just a little bit? Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty well the best spot, right?
Yeah, I think so.
If you could put it like right here, that'd be great.
Huh. Perfect.
I love this. It's covering his face for you. But see, that's the only problem. I can put it in between.
How about putting it lower? Like putting it like halfway.
Doesn't let me. It only lets me like drop like just to the bottom like chunk of our bottom boxes.
I see.
You're ahead of me. I don't even know how to make a sticker yet to put it on my live.
I'm trying to get him to make stickers that when he does battles, we can just click the sticker and then it just joins the battle.
Wait. What sticker?
You can make a sticker that has like, when you do like a scheduled battle and you can just like click instead of having to go to your profile and click the link, there's a way you can put like a sticker. It just goes right there and then you just click it.
I've never had that sticker like ever. My entire existence on TikTok, I've never had I had them, they took them away, and I never got them back.
People have them. Because I saw, I think her name's The Bee. She's a lady from BC that's like really popular. She's got like black and green hair. And I saw it on her live and I was like, how do you do that?
I need these things. So, the dad, how would you say your interaction thus far? Because I know you stream the most, between the two of yous, I would say, right? And then I know you just kind of have started live streaming on TikTok, but of course, Papa Roni, everybody's allowed. But how would you say your interaction has been compared to your expectations?
It's been up and down, but it was I don't even know what I expected when I started. It was wildly exceeded my expectations at first when I joined, and then a lot of um, reality sunk in, like how like the gifting is addictive, getting gifts and giving them. Um, like because of the loneliness, interacting constantly was like a big help, but at the same time, it's like road to narcissism, like 101. Um, but I've kind of filtered through all of that. It's a steep learning curve at first. Like that's what I've been trying to help others through is like weeding through the people that start out and they're all worried about streaming just like I was. They're like, I'm nervous about it. I'm just don't pay attention to any of the crap that surrounds it. Do something you enjoy, and good people will show up that share the common interest. And if not, they'll just show up to support you. And that's what I found. But it's filtering through the that are only there to get you, like you were saying the other day, pop in to say, "Hey, I got a battle or something," and they just like send the heart me and, "Hey, could you stop by because I need the same thing back." And I love that almost none of my chat or followers are like that. So I think because I've stressed that, my interaction has been really great with my core group. Um, like even during like the past couple weeks, like I've been telling people I got 1.6 million likes in the past 28 days, like the stats.
Well, congratulations with that.
Like blows my mind because I'm only at like 8K followers now, which is still stunning. But like it's because people come in and they like half them don't say anything. They don't even say hi. They just come in and tap. And then when they want to say hi, they'll be like, "Hey, can you play a song?" or "What are you cooking?" or something like that. And it's like they just go back to tapping. And other nights they don't tap, but it's like that core that makes it worthwhile for me to be consistent. And I think that's what's driving, like meeting people like you as well. Like just the fact that my message translates between like the niches on here, like the different groups, which I didn't expect to find as well. And it wasn't even like an intended message. It was just I'm on here doing something I enjoy. Everybody came along and they just supported. So it's like it really drives home what you put out, you get back, and that's friggin' amazing. Like just unbelievable.
I love that. I love that. And so what I take from that is, it's you do scroll through people's rooms and you see their expression of joy, right? And you want to chase that, which is great. And that's what I think I hope to continue to inspire other people to like continue to go live and express themselves. This is part of where, this is where you and I for sure like started to tie into this, and Bite Boss and I've had so many conversations. But where the weight of the length, as you do this longer and longer, the weight seems to, I wouldn't say ever, your challenges evolve, and so the weight does with it. And I think it's great to get insight from all levels, right? And so from what I hear, you've turned it into a positive experience, right? And it's how we react to the situations and mold that atmosphere for us, right? And if people don't want to be a part of us, you just have to let that go. And so yeah, community is huge, everybody, and that's part of the reason we're doing this. There's a big community that cares about this part of our day. Go ahead, buddy.
Discord is everything. Not just. I'm not talking about coins. I'm talking about genuine people coming in to say hello.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's an important part. Buddy, buddy. Hi.
Yeah,
So
the support aspect is like huge. You don't realize what shape the support will take, and it's constantly evolving. But like originally, it was more and more followers and gifts. Now the gifts have tapered down, but it's more likes and more chat. And some weeks it's no likes at all, but like constant chat and like 150 to 200 people in the chat, and it's just like you can't even keep up.
yeah,
But there's no taps and there's no gifts. It's such a weird dynamic, and it changes all the time. But you kind of have to go. I'm super grateful that there's anybody here at all, and I can actually sit in front of this thing and interact with people all over the world. Like it's just crazy when you think about it.
100%. I think that's a big thing that everyone kind of misses. Like I wouldn't have met all of you without TikTok, right? Like that's been people do come and go. It happens, um, in different weights, but all in all, this app gives you a lot of opportunity that you have to be very responsible with, because with that discoverability comes, but like you said, if you continue to do stuff that you like and you want to do, it attracts that style of a crowd.
The
Isn't
biggest
even all about money. Isn't even about the money. Well, it's not here, and I think that's also the purpose that we're doing that, by the way. Just to answer, like, to mold that question that is in the comments into our chat. That's actually part of the reason we're doing this, is because this is actually right now is about the real discussions, and the last thing we're worried about is the actual money side of support for the stuff that goes on and that we plan to talk about here.
the biggest surprise for me about going live was how members of like I'm a member of this community here. I'm a member, like I go into the dad's lives when I see him on too. People from every live that I've ever visited come and visit me when I go live sometimes. And I think that was the biggest shock, I think, for me, was the fact that even though I'm not necessarily on screen, I've made friendships and developments with people through chat and being there and supporting and that kind of thing. And not realizing that when I went live for my own self, that they would actually come in and say hi to me. That was the biggest shock for me when I started going live, was I thought I was going to be like 100% alone and like building my community from like one person up. But actually, in truth, that's not exactly what happened when I went live. When I went live, people I knew just started flying in. Was like, "Oh my God, you're live! How are you?" Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Wow, okay." I didn't realize, for me, that's how that would go. I didn't think about it like that. I thought that I was going to have to like hit the live button and then start there staring at the screen by myself, being like, "Is anyone going to come in today? I don't know." You know.
Yeah. No, and I think that's a part of, I mean, that's something that I've been able to experience on many different platforms about discoverability, right? And that's where I'll say it comes with positives and negatives, right? However, you react properly to all of this, and you have a group around the mental health and the weight that everything will bring. I think a support system is what'll be helpful, and that's where people need to recall, right? There's a lot of us that we're finding each other for a reason, and so our root cause and our root mission really on the app really is the same thing, whether we might be on the broadcasting side or in the comment section. And you shouldn't feel that need just because you're in the comment section, like you're not doing enough to be there or to help the ones who are actively on screen. And so my my biggest challenge is to always remind everyone that the nonstop scrolling and looking, unsure of what you're looking for, doesn't always bring it likely won't bring a positive effect. It's a time burner, and that's why, I'll say, doom scrolling. And that's something where, we're really trying to create a community here, because part of that is, once all the pomps and frills of life are gone, I don't really know what I can bring more to this community that doesn't allow us to really narrow in on just what our everyday lives really are, and what they're meant to be surrounded is the people that are in it, not necessarily all the things that happen to us or that we do. I think I'm pretty fortunate. And I think, like, the dad, like, how would you say, like, the community aspect, like, you feel that's, like, already pretty strong, like, better than your expectations?
The fact that it translates across multiple chats and groups is like fantastic. Like, you just, whenever you go into somebody else's live, people that that normally come into your live see that you're live and immediately come in, and it's not just, oh, they're with that person, I don't like them, or whatever the sentiment is. They come in anyways, have a chat, and that shows support. And it's like it's kind of like high school cliquey type thing, but it's still, they come in and support, and maybe that conversation that's ongoing at the time changes their mind about that person, and they end up staying and chatting, and then that's a new friend of theirs. It's just, it's exponential. It's constantly growing, and it's fantastic, because any of the time that I'm live somewhere, or people that I know, I can go in and I know I have a friend there to chat with, regardless of knowing anybody else there. And then immediately more people show up to mine or other people's that I go into, which grows them even more. So it's only beneficial to go around, not only, and I think sometimes we suffer from not doing that enough, is going into our friends' lives. It can only benefit us and them by doing so. Because how many times have any of us been in there and said, you need to follow this guy, they're a really good person, or this person, grab them up and go to their live. They do amazing things. So it's like, it's a constant thing, right?
It's really important, I think, to continue that. And I don't think at any stage of success, it should never be ignored, especially on this app.
You have to make plans for it, though, because otherwise you'll be stuck in your own little bubble, right? Like, if you're live, 16 hours a day, let's say, what time do you have to go see the dad or to see myself? So you have to actually, like, almost put it on a calendar and be like, Wednesdays are the days that I go visit everyone else. Otherwise it'll never come to fruition, I think, in my opinion, of course.
No, that's a very difficult thing to manage, right? Live time, a lot of live time. And, I think the other thing that everyone, just because you turn off the live stream, like, tell me who hangs up their hat at work and a minute later they're back to their everyday life.
No one.
I think that's another thing that we get forgotten about, because we think it's like a 2 clicks of a button. As a viewer and as someone who's broadcasting, there's different things that are going through the mind, right?
Wait, okay, come on.
I think that's a hard thing to communicate.
Sorry, someone wanted to show off.
Yeah, even after I finished my live and I didn't stay on as late as I usually do, I ended up talking with another creator who wants to do some co-hosting stuff to get her message out about epilepsy. And then I went to support another friend who's just been struggling with a whole bunch of bots in the chat, and modding for her for a bit, and then working with her moderators, because I'm learning as I go too, but any information that you can pass on, which is great. Like, you don't seem tired when you're passing that energy on and the knowledge, because it's like, oh, I figured this out and they figured something out, so it helps you as well. It's like a constant energy funnel and knowledge funnel. It's fantastic that way. but it can also go the other way where it sucks the energy right out of you, and it just feels like it drains every last bit of knowledge out of you. And it was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, it's not worth it at all. But I think Bite Boss's point about making a day to go visit everybody, because I'm guilty of that. I haven't been around to visit enough people because I've been going live every day.
Oh, I surely just have ran out of time. Like, just, I have to take my proper. You have to take your proper rest, and that's what for me long term. And I mean, this is on the years, right? So we're talking cycles of stuff, right? Like, I have to take it like, like I say, like everyone does things like with intention, right? And I don't think there's not a time that, someone comes through my live and says hello to me and I haven't been able to say hi back on that other side of that card too, right? Where it's like, I'm live all the time and you just have to come through and say hi and it's a quick hi back. Uh, it's
Can
like
I
someone who just works a lot of hours, right? Like, what would you do to a friend that works at a factory 12 hours a day? Like, how would you treat that situation, right? Like, they can't come to your house because they work so much.
But on the flip side of that too, though, a lot of those people that work that much lose a lot of friends because the friends feel abandoned. Like
Well, and what I'm trying to state is it's not an attempt at abandonment. It's just an attempt at grinding for yourself.
yeah, there's no harm intentions. I'm just saying the end result equals to a
Huge.
smaller group of friends.
Can I point something out to you guys just for a sec? If you scroll up in the chat, look for somebody that says Jet.
Sorry, I can't really read the chat.
Okay.
Surgery right now, so
It's not too far up. It says, "Come home, the kids miss you, Mike."
Yeah.
I don't know who that person is.
Oh.
They constantly come in and say that in whatever live I am, and it's hilarious. Like, they will almost every day come into my chat
Oh.
when I'm live and say that, and then continue to comment. And it's hilarious. It's never been disrespectful or anything, but it's,
Okay.
hey, I'm your ex partner or whatever. You come home, the kids miss you. And it's stuff like that, completely anonymous. Don't know who they are, but like, that's a supportive thing, and it's an everyday thing, regardless of where I am. If I'm in a friend's chat, they'll come in and name me and say, "Come home, the kids miss you," which is hilarious.
I have someone that tells me about me not loving my mom enough. Like, I need to like give my mom more hugs, or like mom's telling you to come home tonight, or like all sorts of stuff. Like, same. I have the same. Not really sure where it comes from, but they came in one day trying to like rattle,
Yeah.
and it just was a not success, and it turned into comedy, and now it's like a different rotating thing that they come through. So they probably get reactions from everyone else negatively, like they're looking for, but then for me it's turned into a positive. So I mean, I do my, like I tell everyone, you can't control what happens to you. There's nothing you can do.
No, it's a form of love and respect, though, and it's fantastic. Like, people don't get it. Some people don't know how to communicate, so they come in and they make an offhanded comment, and you're like, if you get upset, then they get that energy back, and then they continue that on, and then they just leave and go do it to somebody else. But if you turn it into something that's positive, and they continue to come back, you're slowly working at changing that dynamic for them, because they know that maybe they'll come in one day and say, "Hey, how are you? I hope your day's amazing," because you've now said that to them enough times or made a comment back to them, and they understand. Maybe it changes, maybe it doesn't, but it's nice to think that it might.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. I think it's interesting. The dynamic on this app and socials, I don't think will ever stop changing, and it will always continue to evolve. And I got to say to everyone, this is, I think, a really, really, really good thing once a week for us to constantly keep doing, for like to support each other, and so everybody knows out there that both sides of this app are heard. And I mean, like, that tapers into life, right? But um I'm pretty impressed with even the amount of people that have shown up already today that like need to hear this. Like it's actually just like it's really like echoing in my head right now. I really appreciate everyone's showing up there needs to be an audience and no one's expected to, but that's a big shout out to everyone as well.
I know it's tough scheduling, and like there's three of us, potentially more later on down the road. But the person I spoke to last night, I mentioned you should probably schedule it if you're going to be awake to be here. She's like, "What? Why don't you do it more than once a week if this is going to be an important message?" I said, It's in its infancy right now. That'd be something to talk about." But the thought that I had was, we're doing it at 9 o'clock in the morning. There's a bunch of people that we interact with that are in different parts of the world that maybe an evening one might benefit as well. And we could even shorten it. So shorten the morning one, and they could do two in one day, but it would have to work for everybody.
Yeah.
Doing one day might be a bit much for me, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Well,
Like,
my only thing about the biggest thing about people usually on other sides of the world and everything, and I'm not trying to be, but the biggest thing that I'm trying to convenience is on like like in the Americas, just because the level of like once you go to something like an evening, like I know personally I've got a community where the reason I chose mornings, and we can adjust, but the reason the mornings usually work is it's just before the days started, and then a Sunday is usually the sleep in day for families. A lot of larger streamers don't typically get on at this time too. So I'm trying to force a little bit of exposure at a time when there's lower traffic from people that also need to hear this, whether so if they're active, there's a less chance of a reach. And just to explain, that was why I was pretty interested with the mornings.
Mhm.
Um, I want to include other parts of the world. My thinking is to eventually take this and mold our way of doing this if this continues to, evolve, so that we can, someone can tune in and listen to this all offline. And so I have that offline version of that. And then that will continue to bring more, hey, this is where I go to listen afterwards. And then people will still get the message. And then they can also have the opportunity to live, and it just loops back and forth for content wise. Because we still have to be strategic eventually in order to, continue out the message and stay fresh, adaptive. But this has to be as loose of an environment as possible, because the mental health part of it is where that can't have hard bumpers on it.
Yeah, you don't want it to feel like it's something that you want the same experience every time. It's something that you look forward to. That way, it's not work; it's enjoyable. And I mean, this is only our second one, but it is exciting to explore this with more experienced people from my point of view, um, and my limited knowledge of the app and just my experience so far. Like I haven't seen it transition the way you guys have. So.
But I think your life experiences shouldn't be disregarded either. I think that's like the part of it that I really highlight more out of others, that I try to say not to let the app affect what you bring in, and then to just always stay with who you are. And I think that's where like, that needs to be highlighted out of people, because like despite their experience, what they bring in from their own personal knowledge is so valuable to me.
Did you just, in a polite way, call me old?
No, actually, it could anyone before a large amount of time on social media, I feel, has a more, a better approach, because, and you know what? Fortunately, it's a more naive approach, and that brings a fresh insight at different time points throughout the transition of socials. And so you just, no matter what stance and where you stand in life, that's going to translate, right? And as long as you hold who you are that brings a perspective to the app that someone may or may not have seen before. And that's like the important part, to highlight the creativity of others and to push them. Because it's like, we all forget, and just to extend off that, we all forget when we get 300 views on our video. Put 300 people in this small room. Good luck.
Yeah.
A lot more than you thought.
Yeah.
Only 300 people and that's it. But like, that's what it's meant to be. And that's not a bad thing.
The other thing to remember is
Respect's so important.
what makes you different than all the other streamers, not what makes you the same. In my opinion, making yourself different, making yourself stand out, is tenfold better than trying to follow the same simple line that everyone else is following.
And trying to avoid the word hype. Sorry, just to add that. And trying to avoid the word hype in that journey.
Yeah. Just be your authentic self. Because, like, it's easy for you to be your authentic self. It's easier to come on stream every day just being you. Having a persona and having a thing or following a certain way doesn't work in the long run, and it'll end up burning yourself out because you use more energy to be that person than just to be yourself.
Yeah, a lot of the burnout that I've seen from creators that come on here, they get lost because they've come on here looking at somebody else and gone, I can do that, but I can do that better. I can model that and do that, and then they end up getting a following, and then they run out of, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah,
because I've had that conversation with quite a few just this week. Like, what do I do? Why is my chat not working anymore? Why am I not gaining followers? I'm like, just pick something that you are passionate about, not that other person, and do it on camera. It'll work.
Like, one of the things that I'm thinking about for myself is just doing dog walks. Going out for a walk, walking the dog, going live, and just saying hello. I think I'm going to start with something just that simple, right? Walks with Matt. And then that can be literally an anything conversation. And I think that's a great start for me as well. Because in that way, it gets my foot more in the door and a little more comfortable with going live. Because, like, as you saw before, like, I'm not usually a person on camera. I'm usually, like, I'll be in a box, but I won't be on camera. So for me, it's a comfortability thing. And I don't see a lot of people doing that on live. So that's also something that I could find to be unique to me.
That's like what I want to hear too, right? Is someone wanting to broadcast not for the reason of, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to go live and I'm just going to wing it and end up just pouring my life out onto live as content in the way that you set yourself up being vulnerable. That's, I think, one of the things that we do get lost if you don't have purpose. And that's why, like, I'm glad you brought up that the dad is having purpose is so important. Like, for me, it's evolved because I jumped from an environment, my last environment before here had very low exposure in an environment that was still increasing, right? Everyone's trying to stream every day. And so to come here, all of a sudden I would sit live and there'd be people that would just come in and talk to me. For me, just listening to my music, doing the odd thing in my garage or wherever I was.
There is.
And look at all this. I have a beautiful community that's slowly wrapped around the things that I love to do, like you said. And I've never had to change who I am. And that's something that allows me to be comfortable long term on camera, that allows things to make it easier for the host to just be yourself, because eventually your act's going to be over, right? And some people, like 5 years to keep an act, that's a stress. You'd be a very stressed out person, right? Look at actors. I'm not, but like it's you can't fake 5 years of your life, 12 hours a day. Like that's a level of insanity that I think you'd have to prove at that point. You know what I mean? Like, so what I'm just trying to, so what everyone needs to take away from that is the genuine self will come out as the time elapses So you need to start off thinking how you can do something the same every time that's in tune with your genuine self and what you believe and value and love. And that will echo to everybody. But if you truly don't find that, especially in this competitive environment, that there's another touch point to this every Sunday is, you know, the world that we live in might evolve as we continue to do this every Sunday. And we might need to discuss strategies and stuff as how we're handling that. Just our mental side of strategies to handle that and what we've seen change. So with all that, I think staying genuine allows you to stay true to yourself. And I think that's truly important. And I'm glad like the two of you that are in the box with me resonate that so loudly as your primary, because that gets lost on this app. Like just to continue to, put a firm footing in that, but it does get lost on this app because eventually you drown out because there's less hype about who you are, and that and if support tapers because of that, you feel like you've done the wrong things, but you haven't in turn. And that's something I can speak to is that, and that's what's hard about being yourself. You watch people reinvent themselves, but that creates a disingenuous feeling over the years. And it's no fault to their own because that's how this app works. It's entertainment. But I can never change myself at root.
No, and that translates across to your following, because much like if you're genuine every day, people notice when you're off. It's just like having an in-person connection. Like you see somebody every day for however long, you get used to what their mannerisms are, their facial expressions, their tone of voice, how they react to music, or when you're like, if you're gaming or if I'm cooking or something, it translates on camera. And if you're off or you're agitated or whatever, it definitely, the core people can see that. So it's something that if you're fake starting out, people are going to wonder, like, why is this person like that?
The last few days, I can just say like the last few days, right? Like I'm not going to sit there and just be quiet and everyone wonder what's wrong and sit in silence. But, I'm trying also to be as polite as I can, but everyone can see, like my patience has been extremely tested and into my limits in my world. And just when I think it's over, I feel like the pot continues to boil. And you know what? I just want to say, and that's where I'd rather give that to everyone than to always come on and almost be to the point where you're like, are you medicated to be that happy all the time, to the point where I find it unnatural. And I don't, if you are to be that way for your own sake, that's fine. But for me, I'd rather give you who I've got to be that day, whether you accept it or not, because that's what I do. I lifestyle stream. I don't come on to be a character. I come on to be me. And I know I put Zen, right? My first name is actually Chris, but that'll get drowned in this app. And I love who I've become, that digital part of that identity, because the name that I put in front of that does match my ability to center myself out and reset day by day. And that has allowed me to stay here as well. Like there's a part of that all rolls with it, right? And I do say thank you to everybody. And that's why the mental health awareness is so important to speak to.
When I find people putting on a persona, the first thing I do is I usually go like this and be like, well, what are you hiding? Just like that, right? It's like if you be your authentic self, then there's nothing to hide. When you're fake, it's almost like you could smell it. When you go into a live and you're just like,
I love that feeling, the eye to the screen. What's going on here?
That's how we should start. Every Sunday, all three of us right up close.
I see you.
Hello.
I wasn't trying to call light to what I saw from you. Like I could tell.
No,
last
you're
week.
fine. We're talking about this in a way that we can highlight each other in a third. Sorry, just to cut you. Like you can highlight me always in a third person. I will never be offended. I want everyone to grow from my faults as well, and and whether it's a setback, a fault, a trip, a slip, a fall, there's no one else that I want to see go down a path that I wouldn't want to go back down again. Whether, you know what I mean, whether it was an intentional something, like no matter the reason. And this is where, that's why I have faith. It's sorry to just like sideways, that I have faith in both of us that we're going to be able to politely keep feeling that out and bring out the best of each other, tease the worst to go away, and continue to evolve this in front of an audience as well, that later on we touch base and it's like, remember those first few street, like, you know, and you look at that podcast, how it evolves, or the group, right? And so that's the exciting part of this. So never feel I'll never feel targeted. It's a reason I do influencing, and it's a reason I live stream. There's no hiding who I am to the world in the way of what I want to see. So anyway, so
Yeah.
yes, so with me,
I was calling it to light to bring that out because I've gone through the same thing but hidden it, and you showed strength in just having it happen on camera, and then the amount of support that came from your chat, and then like the messages behind the scenes and stuff, people concerned, but obviously more people knowing you longer than me, you'll pull through and you'll change, because that's what happens. But it comes with a responsibility as well. Like, even when we're feeling like that, we don't want to not stream, because we're also the backbone of other people's day. Like,
right.
We're expected to show up. And yeah, there's days that we don't show up because we need the off days, but it's the days that we don't feel like it and we come on, we're just kind of like this, and we're just kind of, okay, everything's kind of irritating today and I don't want to do this, but hey, how are you? Good to see you. And we do it anyways. And, you know, we pull through, but people can see that. And then people step up and help us through. And it's great, but it's like that weight on us of the expectation is something that we take on willingly. It's not a, you have to do this, you should do this. It's a, you know what, I'm feeling like a bag of shit today, but I'm going to get on and do it, because I know that even if I do have an absolute shit time, at least I know I did it for me, and I did it for the people that are expecting me to be there. And it's not going to ever be, not from my chat, at least I don't know all of your chat enough, your core group for sure, but it's never going to be, hey, I expected you to be there today. It's, we didn't see you, hope everything's okay.
Yeah.
But that's about the community you build, right?
Yeah.
No, and you're a big part of that, which is huge and means the world. I can say to a lot of people, it happens to, you know, the best of us, where it's hard to turn off. Some people are that, you know, deeply connected through my live, and they've expressed that offline. You know, some people don't really say a lot in, you know, on through a comment, right? But I have enough messages that I've saved and I go through that allow me to recall what that important part of coming on raw, you know. I'd rather take the troll comment of, oh, obviously he didn't shower and go live, than, you know, that kinds of stuff. I'm okay with that. That's part of our everyday, you know. Tell me you haven't gone to, you know, a job before and patched yourself together and just done it. Less to patch together before you hit the button on TikTok. But, you know, that said, we all go to it, you know, there's workplaces where we all show up not at our best and people see us not at our best. It's sad that the exposure of this app leads you to believe that you really need to over prepare. Like, we see a lot of people, they prepare like they're going out for a first date to go live on TikTok, you know, and that's a security thing more than it is, you know. If you have to worry about what's on my, you know, if you have to worry about the fact that I wear a t-shirt and not a polo or something like that, you know, there's to a limit of what you're looking for in me as a creator. So there is to a point where over time, I try to. I'll be frank. I try to wear interesting T-shirts or something that's different just to change it up. Because I mean, 365 days a year you see me. But part of that is also with me just to stay a little bit fresh for myself.
Yeah, it
Why?
took me like an hour to do my makeup this
Well,
morning.
come on, we got to do our get readies. Oh, we did a private get ready with me. We have that on our other, sub only account. So what I can say to everybody is, it's important. A lot of you are important to us, and I recognize my importance to everyone else, and I know everyone recognizes struggles, and there isn't much a lot of us can do because no one can change the world tomorrow. But we can day by day just continue to get up and try every day. And that's why one day I might not be the happiest, or we all might not be, but you got to just get up that next day in whatever state you get up in and try to smile and be like, hey, I got the chance to start again that someone else didn't at least. I get that much. I have an advantage off of at least one other person at this exact moment. Pivot point at least. So that's my next thing that I was actually going to ask you, Dad. How would you? So we heard from Bite Boss, right? How he wants to get into the small steps. We heard from like your insight, right, as to your honest heart, small steps of how you want to kind of break yourself into like a live environment that leaves yourself feeling comfortable. Do you remember, the dad, what you did for your first little bit that allowed you to find the beginning of your groove that you're on now?
I had no idea what to do, so I put the phone on the counter and I started cooking for my first live after my 3 requirements. And there was over 1,000 people that came through, and it was my first live. Like, it wasn't like a huge number all in the chat at once, but it was a steady, hey, what are you doing here? What are you making? And then they would disappear and then come back later, like, oh, you're still making it, or how did it turn out? And then those people turned into, the next time I went live, they brought friends. Like, hey, there's a dude in the kitchen cooking, and it's some weird stuff because I think I made peanut butter and tuna that time or something like that. And they're like, you're doing what? And it was just something that I enjoyed because I had to friggin' eat. And I thought, well, I want to go live. I have no idea what to say. Let's try this. And it worked. And then I bought like one of the ring lights. I'm like, this is a horrible angle. I had my phone stuck to a soup can for the first like week, and it's like on its side, and I have magnets on the back, so it's kind of rolling around every now and then. I'm like, this is horrible. It's still a horrible angle, but whatever. People seem to show up and enjoy it, so it made cooking more enjoyable for me. I still don't like eating on camera. Like, I kind of eat off camera, but it's turned into like my subscribers directed me on how to make a cheesecake because that was an idea because I'm always cooking or eating on camera. So now that turned out friggin' amazing. Now I think I'm up to 17 subscribers as of last night. So now it's getting to the point where I can actually do a sub only live instead of having an open live. If I can coordinate, if they can coordinate enough, like between them, so that it can be enjoyable. Because if you have a sub only live and you have like 20 subs and only 3 show up, it's not really exciting for 3 of them to just sit there, and it's kind of intimate that way. But it honestly it was a necessity. Like, you walking the dog, Bite Boss, it was something that I'm already doing. Why not share with other people? Because like, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and you obviously enjoy it. It's something you have to do, but there's other people that have the same things. They're gonna do the same things. They've already done it, so they're gonna come in and watch you and go, oh, that's cool. and have a conversation. It's like having a big dinner every day with like a huge group of people.
That touch point, right?
Yeah, and we're single, so we don't have those people to talk to that we used to. So
There's,
it's a comfort thing, and now we're a comfort for other people as well. So
I think that's a big part of this app that gets lost in the hype often, right? Is that sense of community, of people being able to check in, but they might not individually check in with each other. It's us being present to give them the space, and it means more for that space to just be there sometimes than it does to really use it. To have the option of somewhere to go is unfortunately, it naturally will, but it becomes undervalued, and that's why I try to remind people of, I'm trying to avoid the monetization like talk, but that's what the subscriber kind of thing is, right? It's that reminder of that small support for that place that you might often touch on, but it's also a reminder, that creator, that you support that environment in that small way because you are a part of that community, and maybe just not present in that every day. And that's where part of that gets lost. And where I want to highlight is, without ever stressing the audience, I always want them to remember that it's hard to get good feedback for what you do. So always make sure in any way you can to lift up the people that you're around, because give the situation of not having that place to go, instead of looking at as more an investment to constantly, even just to comment, to positively react to things that you like seeing. That encouragement goes so far in a day to day to day to day to day. And I think that often gets lost. Community brings way more support through presence than they actually do through actual presence. That makes sense. Like, them being there is so much more than they understand. And that's why I try to thank people for their time. Sorry, just to close with that, is why I'm very adamant about always thanking people for even just their time. Because that's something that they won't get back to. And I mean, they're happy to spend it with me, but that's something, money you can always go make more of, or, you know what I mean? But your time is how you choose to spend it. And you really should choose wisely who you spend it with.
mm-hmm.
Both sides. Who's in your chat you should allow or not allow, and who's in the chat should be choosing.
And then you'll also unexpectedly make friends along the way too, like as a member in the chat. Like, that was one thing that I was kind of not prepared for. Is like people becoming your friends just because you're in the chat and you're around them every day.
That's a hard thing to explain as a live host to even new members of the community. It's like, especially that's a guarantee in my community. You will grow in my community 100%. It's every single person. You're guaranteed over time. You'll put at least 1,000. You'll put at least 1,000 follows on your account through and the right follows that will through your time. And I've always helped, whether you're a viewer, someone who wants to go live, or anything. I've never seen a negative to help anyone grow and become a better person, and become, I don't know, more connections for them. I think that's important, is never worrying about your audience outgrowing your own live environment. And that's not our style, but that's important to remind everyone. How long I've been on this app, I've seen people start yesterday and shoot past me in a month, and I've been doing it a lot longer, but our intentions and length of time might be different.
Yeah.
So you just can't worry about why and when and how.
Yeah, you can't predict. You can have a rough estimate, and you can look at how well they're going to do based on what they're offering. And obviously, looks and gender play a big role on this app. And like, there's a lot of people that just come on here to watch certain things, and like the people that I've spoken to that maybe I've recommended that they go live because they'll be very successful based on what I've seen. They have like wildly successful and just like blown past where I am. But something you asked me about 2 weeks ago on our first one was when I was saying I want to grow it organically, and you asked me to define organically basically because you weren't quite getting the context I was meaning it in, which made me think about it. And I'm like, I never really thought about how I was actually using the word, but like staying away from agencies and stuff like that was me growing it organically, and like they're doing it quicker, but it's kind of like adding Miracle Grow on it because they have a special ingredient, right? And the
Putting
way,
the pressure to make connections instead of a natural connection was what I took away from that after the stream. I thought more, and that's why I tell people follow someone regardless of whether you care they're ever going to follow you back. You know, this app has evolved that there's not so everybody knows, and this comes from high level. You can sit there and just like posts all day, and you never really have to follow anyone even, and their content will come back. It's so well curated to your interests that you really should just um, I say this because unfortunately it goes from following to follow back to friends, and that creates a pressure. And I know there's agencies that know how to highlight that with creators. You know, um, there's certain keywords and ways of speaking about it that create a nonsensical way of growing pages that then fall later. It's great to light fireworks are great when they're lit in the sky, but that show doesn't often last very long. Is the best way to say things like that, right? And so that long, slow, steady growth never drops. And that's I always encourage everybody. But in this room, we bring good people to each other, and I'm sure you do the same thing. You try to keep good people connecting with good people, right?
yeah, mine hasn't actually been that slow, but compared to the other ones, um, they've gotten more followers a lot faster. But my core continues to grow, which is what I wanted originally. So that like the family, I'll put it, just gets bigger and bigger, and the more that grows, the more that I see the interaction. Even after the people in that family, that core group, go live on their own, they still translate into coming back to me, and then everybody else in that circle. It's a constant thing. Even if they do their own thing, they're constantly filtering back, because I had a lot of people join me at first and they went on to do their own thing and they never came back, which is fine too. But it's the family that started, that branches out on their own, but then they blossom and they keep bringing back, and then they bring their family in, and it's just, like I said originally, exponential. Like it's amazing how it just turns into this huge tree.
Yeah.
So as long as the roots are deep, it'll be fine.
What do you think about that, Bite Boss? What are your thoughts?
I think that roots are where you should always be. Start there always, because if you have a good root system, then like the rest of it will just kind of come naturally. And I agree with the dad about the agencies thing. And the one reason why I didn't really join one was because I felt that like it was all fake. Like it felt like it's a business and you're there as an employee checking in, putting in your time clock, and then getting your money, and then, like that's it. And I don't feel like that's how an agency should be. I think it should be more run like a family. Actually, the funny thing, when you guys were talking about that, I thought of like the Godfather scenario, where it's like, oh, we come in here, we have a good time. You leave, you come back, and that was the thought that came to my mind when you guys were speaking about that. Was like, it's kind of like, a big, huge Italian family, and we're here having some spaghetti and meatballs, and a few kids are throwing the balls, making a mess, and the mom's like, "Hey, stop it," you know. That's kind of the feel, the vibe that I was getting from all of that.
I love that. I love that because I think that's all I think that we all resonate that same vibe, right? Or try to.
And I think it's truly the best way to grow a community, right? Because there's always going to be people that are going to come in the door, say hello, like a distant cousin, right? You see them twice a year, like that's cool. You catch up and then you move on again, and then you come back and circle back. Or they're, the uncle had a drunken stupor and no one wants to talk to them for 6 months. Because he made an ass of himself. You know what I'm saying? Like every family member, every family has something in that regard. Maybe not alcohol, but something else. And I feel that TikTok is pretty much the same kind of concept, and that's the envisionment that I have for like my own self. Is that the envisionment that I have for like my own self? Is that
Of that drunken uncle that's probably in our chat.
yeah.
It's the, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. And oh God, what are they going to say this time?
Like,
Happy that you're here. Yeah.
2 sentences ago, you should have stopped. Two sentences.
Two, not one.
They deserve a seat at the table too. That's the deserve a seat at the table too. That's the
And openly speak about a lot, which might sound excessive to our core, but please remember that you have to keep putting ripples in the water to get waves, right? You have to. And you have to, because you dip your finger once into a still pond, that ripple might hit the end, but did it get everybody, right? You got to keep doing that. You got to keep going. And so that's where the core community between either supports it in the way of echoing it or support it in the way of tolerating the continuous push of your message. What is going on with you? Sorry everybody. We've got just the animal just,
Hey, I've been experiencing that since we started this. If you hadn't noticed.
like he'll be perfectly wrapped around me, and then next thing you know, he's about to go off the chair the other way.
You see what I'm dealing with right beside me?
Yeah, give me attention.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
calm
failed.
down.
It's okay. What I'm using is very wish.com-y.
Yeah, and so I think I don't know. Did I? I'm trying to see if there's like any gaps to kind of how we're going about. My big thing is I want the audience to also hear some of like, overall our root intentions, right? Like, and so part of our root intentions, right, that we broadcasted, right, is that ability to be genuine. And a question that I kind of want to go into is, what do you feel, either of you can answer this first, but the biggest thing on this app that tends to pull people away from who they are, whether the answer is obvious or not? I'm curious what insight you both have on that.
Do you mean like what do you find pulls you away from your genuine self?
Yeah, yeah. Like, what would pull you the strongest away from you keeping your genuine self with what you know about? I would say trying to steer more to be try to steer more towards live streaming and the hosting, like this app more side of like the social media.
I'll answer it like this. I fear that as I build a community, that the community may sway me to areas that I feel uncomfortable or away from my own self, and I feel that's one of the reasons why I don't go live. Actually, is it's a fear for me because I don't know how I would react if somebody genuinely wanted me to go path A, but I did not want to go to path A and I wanted to go to path B or C, whatever that might be. And I think that would be something that could stray me from being my genuine self. Is changing myself for the community and the health of the community or the community members.
Do you think that's a concern with like stuff like, hey, if I send this gift type thing, would you do this? Like, do you think it'd be like getting talked into doing like battles or punishment battles or something like? What's
Yeah, or like, hey, I want you to go live because I want to give you X, Y, Z, and I just don't want to like go battle like somebody for coins, for example.
Yeah.
Like I'm not on this app to like it's not like you like it's not my job. I'm here to be an entertainer and to be support, not to be the face of everything.
Okay. So quick follow up to that before we get the dads is how knowing that would be so knowing a potential pressuring issue would be your greatest fear. What do you think your weakest point of your character that would allow you to give in to something like that?
I genuinely care for everyone that I'm a part of. Like a piece of me is assigned to each individual person. And that part of my moral goal in life is to not upset or distress anyone else in any which way. And I feel that one community member may want to go in one direction and one will be another, and I want to go in a third way. And then I would be upsetting two of those people in that process because I didn't choose to follow their direction or their lead. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yeah. I get it. He's up and he's out.
Don't want to get some coffee.
I'm making another coffee.
Very good. Yeah, no, so yeah, the question was about what you feel a pressure would be that would pull you away from you remaining your genuine self. What you feel the strongest pressure is.
I think I don't have that worry as far as being pressured on here. Like, I apologize to another streamer about doing a battle. You guys showed up for the battle. Actually, it was the hair dye battle. Because I didn't want her to feel like she was pressured. Because I feel like the conversation I had, even though it was her idea, that I pressured a lot of build up. So she said no, not at all. But it was the way that I built it up, I guess, with the posts about it and stuff like that. So we had actually talked about doing another one just privately, both of us just coming on at a set time and not telling anybody and just having a for fun battle like all the battles that I do pretty much, aside from that one, were for fun and points didn't matter. And then we could just talk about what we wanted to do as a punishment anyways, just because it makes it like there's something at the end of it. It's not about the point. So if we ended up with like 1-0 or something, it was just the thought behind it. So I don't think like I like doing fun stuff regardless. I don't think there's anything on here that I would be afraid of because it's not a monetization thing. Like if it was about earning or some form of monetization on here that was the driving force, our conversation would be different in the first place. But then uh, at that point, it might, like if it was something that I needed to do to earn the money on here, then and people were trying to get me to do it, that might be a concern. But for me, as far as being pulled in any direction by chat followers, other creators, anything like that, like pressured into a situation, I don't think that there's anything on here that could do that. If anything, I would go in there and try it and see first, but I don't think I'm pretty aware of my surroundings and what is good for me and seems healthy for me and the community, even though I've only done this for a short time. So, as far as having that awareness, I don't think I'm afraid of being exposed to or trying anything new with any worry of being pulled away from what the core beliefs and my foundation is. As long-winded as that was, I don't think I have any fears on here about being pulled away from what my original intent is.
I think that's healthy. That's healthy, right? To have like a good, strong standpoint.
But I totally get what Bite Boss is saying. Like I totally get that, where you might be swayed or have those concerns. Like that, I totally understand that.
Do you feel like they're not even just necessarily from your chat? Okay, just to tease this. With all the help you continue to give, if you continue to make traction on that, how will you continue to remain helpful without spreading yourself so thin that you're not able to help all the people that you want? So my question would be, so rather than, okay, so no fear, but as an insight, how will you manage a potential exponential or continual growth of more people to help past your ability to give time?
I'm okay with saying no, and I think all of us need to do that. I'm really good at saying no. I was asked to mod the other day by somebody. I went, I literally don't have time, but I can recommend you some people that are really good at it, and they're on around the same time. But I watch management videos and like psychology videos, like how to talk to people, how to deal with situations. I try and learn as much as I can from that standpoint, so that I'm prepared in those situations. Like not to you can take the I don't really give a shit, I don't care if you're upset or not, or you can intelligently deal with the situation by saying, no, here's why. Don't say, I would love to, because that gets the expectations up, and then you give a reason or an excuse afterwards, and then the person feels like, well, you could have just said no. If you lead with no, then that's off the table already. Then give your reason afterwards. The person's already tuned out anyways, but if you give them an alternative as well, or like some sort of assistance, then you're okay. So I may have already spread myself too thin with the amount that I'm doing, but because it's enjoyable, it wasn't something that I committed to with the understanding that I can't do it. I'm too tired. It's sure I'd love to. I'll help you this little bit, and then that'll create a path. But it's I've been asked more than 5 times in the past couple of weeks, and said, I can't
Yeah.
physically can't. I don't have the time. The amount of time that I've spent streaming, if I sacrifice that, then yes, I could. But I think you're doing fine
Yeah.
on your own. Here's some information, and here's some other people that can help a lot. So hopefully, like, just the no and the help is enough. And if not, they can always come back and ask. Like, most of the people just send me a message anyways, and it's a quick response away. Here's a little, help, or somebody that can help.
I love that. No, that's a good thing for people to hear, right? Because I think I do really feel like it's a very hard thing over time, because it does never. I will always give. That's not the root of why I'm saying this. I will always, but it does, the demands don't, and I mean, sometimes it becomes, and that's where the other part is to always, and this, you're prepared. The difference between the requests and the demands are usually the biggest problem that I find. It goes from can you to, even though I'm saying can you, it's in the way of I expect you. And I think that was my intention behind part of that question, was a genuine concern for being gassed out trying to help everyone, and then not leaving enough for yourself. Because I will say this 100 times over, I tell my community this, you got to make sure you look after yourself for me, and I got to look after myself for you.
Yeah, if there's nothing in your cup, then you don't have anything to give, and you don't realize that. But like, you end up giving stuff that's not worthwhile because you're so worn that it's just a waste. It's a waste of energy for both involved. So, like, make sure exactly what you said. Take care of yourself first. And I had an experience in my life where somebody tried to co-host several times, and then they came into the chat and started asking for advice on how to get their chat moving and how to make their live better and all this stuff. And I took the time out in my life away from what I was already talking about with other people to direct to that comment. And it's one of those I'm demanding your time things, but it was a polite I'll talk to you another time, with a little bit of watch what's happening here. Like, my chat's moving 90 miles a minute and there's only 15 people in it, and you're complaining that you only have 3 or 4 and your chat's stagnant. Like, your format's different than this. Don't do exactly what I'm doing, obviously, but take notes. Like, don't just try and co-host when I've already told you this is not what I do when I'm doing this, and then come in and demand an answer now. It's hey, can we talk to you later, or something like that.
Yeah.
That's acceptable, but there was the demand, and it was without getting upset about it, or understanding that person is not used to not getting what they want right away. Taking the time to actually explain it, and then going into their live as a guest and saying, hey, do you have a minute? Here's what I would do. And I've seen them since then asking other people, which is friggin' amazing. And those people have been helpful as well. So, like, it turned into a really good situation. But that was the exact dynamic that you were talking about.
Yeah, well, it's important to look after. You can't devalue yourself as a creator, right? Just for the sake of your core community alone.
It's tough. It is tough. It's like, even just making videos, it's time consuming. It's not like we're not seasoned actors or veterans at this stuff. It's not like, oh, we just okay, roll it, and you got like this crew behind you, and you do this. You got a script to go by, and everything like that takes time to generate all that stuff. We're literally just people with lives, and if we have an idea, we think, how do I structure that so it translates across to the people? How do I word it? What kind of angle do I want? What do I want to put for music? What do I want in the background? How much time do I want to spend? And then we go, well, shit, that takes a lot of time. I'm just going to not do it. And then people go, oh, I haven't seen much content from you. Okay, but I've been on here. like it's a constant thing. So I'll go through like a couple weeks where I don't post anything, but I've been on here constantly. And then I'll just have a flood where I'm off for a day and I'll post a bunch of content. It's not the best way to do it, but I have a couple minutes, so I take the time and make videos. It's definitely, it can consume your entire life if you let it. For, well, as far as monetary return, not much. If that's not your concern and you're looking for other returns, like if you're not trying to build it wholesomely, then you're going to get let down.
Well, that's the long-term win for that, right?
Yeah.
That's the real long-term win that allows you to actually be here longer term. But that doesn't change someone's ability to come in and do the right things. Like it's awesome to watch more, like watching someone like you that, you know, you continue to say like, you know, like, oh, I haven't been on here that long, but like I said, like you bringing what you know already and how you go about doing it becomes more trick to the trade than just clicking a couple buttons on the application, right? Clicking a couple buttons and putting yourself in front of everybody doesn't necessarily change your strategy behind that you're doing. I think that's important to highlight it positively of what you're doing, right?
Part of my issues with posting videos is I have two kind of things for that. One, we actually don't. I don't see the. I was about to say I don't see the value, but that's not what I mean. I don't have a big enough community yet, and I don't know what to post about. Those are two of my biggest concerns with the video thing. That's why I don't really post that much. Is because it's like I see other stuff, like I'll repost other videos that I see while I'm scrolling, but for my own stuff to post, I'm just like, I'm not exactly sure what direction I want my page to go. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a tech person by day. You know, do I want to talk about my tech after hours? Probably not. Okay, so then what's next? I have music, I have other things that I've got interests in, but I'm just not sure. Like, right now, my page has no direction. I have no, like, this is the way that I'm going. I think that's part of my issue on why I don't post videos or make videos.
Makes sense. I was told to post my dogs because dogs are popular and they will do great. And if you wanted to get more followers, post your dogs. And all of the content with either water or my face in it does way better than my dogs. So,
But if you saw in the chat, like every time Lily has walked by the screen or come up here and gave me a kiss or sat beside me over here, the chat goes and like at me and be like, "Oh my gosh, there's Lily," blah blah blah. So it's kind of interesting how you found that your dogs didn't really do much for you, but mine seemed to be, you know, attracting attention there in the chat.
yep, it's daily and it's a different dynamic based on what your following is too. And I was surprised, like running, like not running water, but rapids in a river was like one of my most popular videos. And it's just, it may have to do with the music that I put with it or the angle of it. Who knows? But it consistently keeps growing and it's pretty funny. I like it.
That's awesome. I think that's and that's once again, right? is you once like I just hear the worry, and I have the same thinking sometimes, but what people are gonna you're trying to it takes sometimes a while to reach out and find that exact niched community that you might not get that response right away, but it takes time to find that audience behind something. So I would never say anyone, if you don't have success in like 1 or 5 or even 10 videos, still doesn't mean you're not doing anything right. And it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just might take some consistency and some tweaking to find those people for those things. And that's definitely hard, right? Is how do you steer between what to post, what not to post, when to post? That's a hard topic.
Yeah, the direction thing is very interesting. Like I had no direction either of what to post, so I started posting pictures. That's how I got started because I love taking pictures of the places around me. It's just like it's never the same. It's different every day, and every minute it's different. And it just blows my mind the amount of different colors and landscapes. Like it's overcast and how it turns out on the camera. So I wanted to share what I thought was beautiful and like in the moment, and that started getting views. And it's cool that you can put music behind it and add effects to it and stuff like that. So I started doing that, and then I started posting like videos with running water or beaches because I'm lucky enough to be able to travel and go different places, or just do like for my lunch I could walk down to a frozen beach, which I thought was stunning. So I would take pictures and people really appreciated that. So it's just like it goes back to what you want to do for your lives. I think you should start with that. If you're going to post more on your page, start with the things that you are passionate about and enjoy, and share it with people, because then they get to know you before they even come see your live. They'll come across your page, your post or whatever, and really like something, and then go, oh, he's live or she's live, and I click on it, and then they get to know you and be like, one of the biggest questions I get, where now that I post motorcycle stuff anyways, is where did you ride? And it's like, it's all local. And then where are the pictures from the beaches and stuff? Like all of those are local, within 20 minutes or half an hour from me. And people are like, oh my God, it's so beautiful there. You probably have the same shit around you. It's a perspective thing. That's what I started taking all the pictures and videos, because it's perspective. Most people live and are surrounded by beauty like that, but don't look at it that way because they see it every day. They walk out the door and it's the same shit every day, and they think, oh, I'm in this spot, I want to move or whatever.
Yes, I have 2 dogs.
Just look at it a little differently, and maybe you'll end up taking pictures.
Well, and that's and then inspire people to also continue to not only just to take the pictures, but it's what taking those pictures is doing to them, right? It's causing them to remind themselves of what they enjoy and then to act on it. I think that's an important part of a daily, when you're not streaming a certain style of entertainment, right? Why we're doing what we do, right? That's why we're doing this right now, right? We truly all 3 of us want to do this.
Even on the days where we don't seem like we really want to be on camera, we still want to do this.
Well, you still work, just like everybody too, right? You allude to, even though you might not like the job you go to, if you really didn't like it, you'd find another job. That same thing, as grueling as it is, you'd find another place to go. Well, I can't. Well, you would, push come to shove, if it was that bad, because the pain of changing becomes less than the pain of staying the same at that point of looking for change. But the voice of reason is an animal.
Yeah, your dog is clearly a large part of your day. Your dogs. I would start with that. Like that, I think you can evolve with your page the same way you do with your live. You can take whatever direction you want over the course of time, and whatever people have come to know your page for, even if it does change over time, or even if it varies greatly, it just means they get to see different aspects of your life and what's important to you even more. It's like bringing them into your house and having a hangout buddy or whatever. It's some people that's what they need. So some people will follow you just for that.
Just for the dogs. When you can see this one here, it's got lots of attitude.
Yeah, my disturber is over there on his bed now.
I got both of them right beside me. They've been here the entire time. They just been go up.
Well, any of the loud bangs you hear, that's my border collie following me around with his hard bone and dropping it at my feet.
Oh, she does that all the time.
Yeah. Chrissy likes the idea of a dog walk live.
Yeah, and that's why, right? Your first live, you might only find like one person or two people that might circle back, right? And then those people are in that loop now from to be discovered to have discovered and might come back, right? It's slowly finding the people that are going to enjoy, and then you're going to eventually take your dogs for the same walk, or like not the same walk, but for a walk on a schedule. From there, it makes it a little bit easier.
Right? I think it's a good start from. And it gets me out, gets me active too. Gets them out, gets them active, and we can obviously see that somebody loves the camera. So use that to our advantage, I think.
Right?
I love this format personally that we're doing. I love glancing down at the chat and seeing the conversation that develops between the people that come in here from different groups. Like there's members in here from me and you, and it's just they all converse together. They're going to end up going to each other's lives and all that fun stuff. So we're immediately growing a community, and they're all talking about the stuff that we're talking about in some context or another. So it's like, whether they're commenting directly and we're ignoring it, but somebody else in the chat is picking it up or taking a branch of that and then adding to it in some form or another. It's fantastic.
Well, I think that's why it's a real important core touch point to continue to do.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like recorded, like I said, I would really like to figure out a way just even to record it and post it. I think the audio portion of it has got value. I think it really does. I don't know if the video portion necessarily carries the weight because the comments aren't always. I don't know how you two feel about that. If you two wanted to give me your insight on that.
I think at least the audio at the very least, right? And we could post it on like a SoundCloud or whatever, and then people who wanted to catch up on it later could post it on there. And like that'd be easy. You just have to like one of us needs to be on the computer, and we just log in on the web and just hit record. It'd be simple to do.
Like it could be benefit. I don't think there's anything unless we ran into an issue where there was inappropriate or spamming or whatever. But I don't think, based on the two that we've done, there's nothing that's happened in that regard. The chat might be useful as well for people to see the level of interaction, like if it was a screen record type thing, so they could see the chat flowing as well. That we're not really addressing the chat. We're talking about what we wanted to talk about, and the main focus is that. But at the same time, the chat is kind of following along and carrying their own conversation. That might be a helpful thing to have that chat in there as well.
Okay, so maybe in the future we'll look at we'll try to do a screen recording from another phone to get the chat. So when you pull the recordings online, I don't know if you've pulled a full recording before, you'll just get the visuals of this. It'll probably even remove the chair background. It'll probably just be a black background with our boxes, stickers gone. So it pulls a plain pull out of it, so we'd have to screen record to get the chat. That's fine.
That's what I was thinking on the computer, right? Because you can go on the web version, and just have it like record the screen, like a Zoom meeting kind of.
Okay, yeah, we can do something like that. Yeah, and then you just trim it. You just trim out the little bits of it, and then post it that way.
Then also with that same token, I don't know about you guys, but I was feeling like maybe we start as we progress, like start going cross-platform live as well with that same kind of concept, right? Having live here, we're chatting here, but we're also visible like on YouTube and other things at the same time, right?
And that's something that I've got the equipment to be able to do that for us. Where we need to test at some point what boxes are going to be like on Studio for me. And that's an easy way that I can actually record, and I found a way I might be able to push that out. And I know we're working, I know, well, you and I have spoken, but what we're trying to do is to figure out a way to get more exposure than just this app for doing it at the same time every week, slowly.
And our message is important. So I feel like pushing that out like is a super important thing.
Yeah, and eventually having one person in or multiple people in the box is like different segments. Like obviously allowing time for like the chat part is good, the discussion part is amazing. Like the core of it is really good, but as it grows, figure out how to make it tailored so there's some interaction as well. Because we just leave it.
You bring that up because I have 3 creators that have already kind of side chatted about the idea of possibly wanting to do something like that. We've already committed to a yes. It's just a matter of organizing what we want to talk about and like how long that segment will be, like between the two of us. But I've already talked to like some major creators, and they like what we're doing too. They've been in the lives, both lives so far. So that is a positively received message, and the idea of possibly bringing in a 4th as a segment was received positively as well.
Yeah, because I think it's important, and this isn't to disregard anyone watching, but it's important to remain really focused as if the chat doesn't exist, but leave the opportunity for everyone to chat away and amongst each other and react. My thing is, if, I'd like this if this continues to, I'm looking in a way where someone could tune in from the web and just have an audio version of it alone, and that still translate the value to them. So a way of, if there would be a question from the audience, so to speak, right? That's my only reason for limiting the comments, is because my intention long term is to make it in a way that the podcast doesn't change the way we do it once we've already grown a core group. So to try to stay consistent in mind with what we'll be capable of keeping up, because once the chat picks up, like right now, almost impossible to even, what question would you even pick out of it to entertain? And then that just, the logistics of control, right? Just the control aspect. And that's what's important for everyone to hear the open part of this discussion too, so that you all know our intentions behind this as this continues, because you're our core group that's already been here twice, some people. You know how to help others as they come in to keep them here so they're reminded of how that's going to kind of continue. And that's what community is really important for as well.
And the idea of the questions, like last time we spoke, we were talking about like putting them in like an email, so to speak. I was thinking more like a moderator just copying the ones that they feel is good and putting them in like a Discord chat. That's what I was thinking. And then like one of us could scroll in there and grab a question and ask it to the floor. you know.
Or
However,
maybe even just move it to the next week and have these are our questions from our last session. And then
whatever.
that way it keeps flow. And then that way it's put in your questions for the following week and we integrate that into the next segment.
Sure, I'm open. I was just
But yes, no, I agree with receiving input from the community always.
yeah,
It's important to me.
how we're gonna flow and grow. Huh, funny as that rhyme. But that I think that's important too, right? Because they're although we're not exactly following the chat, I feel that they're important to be heard as well, right? Because they're here to learn and educate as long as we are too, right? So we might as well include them while we're doing it.
Yeah, the occasional glance down, and like even if there is something that got missed, if it's important and they feel like they want to be heard, they'll say it again. And if we make note of it and at least touch on it sometimes, like it's not a bad thing if it's going along with the same topic that we're talking about, especially if it's a point that maybe we didn't think about. It's a different perspective or something like that. It's extremely helpful, even when the chat is moving like it is. But yeah, the open part I think will be really beneficial, even if it's we address it and say there's 10 minutes left. Any questions or concerns or any thoughts on what was talked about, stuff like that, or structure it for like next week, submit your questions, that type thing, and we'll take notes like that. That's both are, I think, amazing ideas because it will drive more people to come in and want to actually interact. Like, oh, there's a section where we get to, give our opinion or thoughts or ideas on how it can grow. So I think that would be definitely helpful.
Yeah, like I mean the chat's part of the what I'd always like to do is us to to be as prepared as possible and then always have a tie off of here's what our reactions kind of are of what we're doing and how can we address this in a way of if one or two people spoke there's always it's like that if one person asks a question there's someone else with that question, right? Someone might not have asked. Mm-hmm. So on that, if someone has made a comment, there's got to been someone else that wants to hear about that. So yeah, we definitely can't ignore that sort of area. I just want to make sure there's always a way that anyone from anywhere can always feel like they're going to be heard, and that way it's not directed to the comments just necessarily on TikTok too. Although it's a TikTok thing only right now, the fear of immediately, I mean, I would hope in a couple months I've figured out how to put us all everywhere when we go live for this hour and a half. And I mean, I'd like to be multi-platform everywhere for this because I think this is an important thing for people to have an ability to tune in and listen to. And as soon as you're on something like YouTube or something as well, that's something people can pull up on their TV. That's a really important thing to me is to be able to actually sit, have your cup of coffee and sit where you're like, oh, and that too. Yeah, Twitch is another thing. Like I'm set, like all those things are already kind of established and ready to kind of, and there's even more, like there's more places everybody in. So sorry to just look at the comments there. I just saw it. But basically every multi-platform that we're able to hit, I'd like to use this as a for sure use stuff that I've that we've made from my own community, right? That's got my streaming leveled up to use that and to be able to take advantage of that to continue. I think that's an important part because you being able to like wake up and put this on your TV, on your phone and sit down on your couch, have coffee, relax the nervous system, speak about the real things, hear about it, the odd guest, and make it your Sunday morning adult style tune in is going to be a really healthy thing for people.
Especially if we have some sort of a way to notify people, like if we're having a big creator or something like that, in next week for a segment or something like that, or something, an important topic that we're discussing that we're going to spend like half an hour on. I think that's important for people to know what's up and coming. Just having the post like what you made and shared with the background and everything that can go on the stories is great for people to know the time. But it'd be nice once it develops to know potentially the content coming up, like what direction that, and then people can go, oh, I really want to know about that. Because I mean, we don't know ourselves what this is going to turn into yet.
Yeah, exactly.
In these first two, we're just kind of bouncing ideas back and forth and talking about the stuff that we struggle with and are successful at. So, but moving forward, yeah, people definitely will want to tune in when they have an idea of what's coming up or who's coming up.
Yeah, there are other platforms do have better ways of, I wouldn't say better, just they've had more development time around how those, and so I'm okay with continuing to take the grunt of dealing with all of that, because that is something that has been it's not that it's nothing anyone else could do. I purposely have always, led towards positivity and the mental health aspect. And so that does resonate well already with me, and I'm okay with continuing to lead that element of I should say the center point of dealing with the technology that'll go behind making this stable and continuing to grow in the right ways. So like as long as we come up with the right ideas, I'll find ways of scheduling an event, putting a topic on that, recreating a poster, sharing it with you two, putting it on my story, and then being that initial stem point for that portion of it is already in the mix of stuff I do all the time. And the Sunday thing is really important to me too. And to the point of if there's anything that anyone thinks that should be done better too, like that also will always be part of like the comments, questions, feedback is super important. Like I'm thinking to the point of evolving this eventually into having like an email where someone could send stuff in and it'll forward to the right places. Like I'd like this eventually to remind everyone that mental health, being in front of a camera, whether you feel expected to or not, you shouldn't, but there's a lot of pressures that'll always be there, I think, amongst all of us. And I don't think there'll be ever a time where we shouldn't pay some attention. And I'm really happy to have the two of you along, and we all convene, like, it's all of our idea, we all just want to grow ourselves, like, grow through our experiences amongst us, but take everybody along that journey. And so I think it's absolutely amazing that we continue to squiggle towards what we feel is the truest path to getting there.
It's definitely needed. People need to hear it, and they need an outlet. But I think like something that you touched on, like readers' submissions or like chats, interactions, like an email or some way to submit an idea, or like a letter. Like you hear read from people like, oh, your podcast or your stream really helped me through this tough point, blah 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 blah. I think
Yes,
time set aside to read stuff like that, like submissions that come in, and then either disclose who it was or not based on what they've said, and say, hey,
they want to choose that, or you might have someone, even just it meant everything to me to have an hour and a half to sit and listen, and then other people hear that, and it's an encouragement that maybe it'll just get more positivity out of that as well, right? The whole point is to snowball this, to have more people affected in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
The virality of this platform is hopefully, you know, part of the initial, but other platforms will, you know, well, like I said, to put us on a TV, for someone to sit down and watch and have their morning coffee is massive.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have to do our makeup then.
Well,
I honestly don't think that matters at all. Like the appearance, as long as we stick to the same structure, evolve it as it needs to be evolved, and maintain the professionalism and the quality of the content. That's all that matters. Our appearance is secondary because people follow us based on what they've already seen. So, like to really restructure and attract new following or whatever we want to evolve it into, if we change what our core was, then we're going to end up attracting a different audience. So I wouldn't change the appearance part of it. Like the aesthetic, maybe based on what goes. Is there a way to do a background theme or like something like to have? I know the audio is absolutely crap when it's split between boxes, but like, is there a way to have music or some sort of background theme going? Because I know that does help in certain situations, because a lot of people don't like watching or listening to podcasts or anything without some sort of background. It helps sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think putting on like air quotes a radio would be a good idea, but I'm thinking more like acoustic or something with like a common background might be helpful too for that.
so maybe discuss. Yeah, my biggest thing is, whenever you get into background, I know what you're saying, right, about having that like, you know, when the audio drops, it's not to zero, it's to something. My biggest issue with that is, especially when you know, we're dealing with like a mental health and an inclusive, what might be calming to one, triggering to another, what might be triggering to another, calming to the next. And
Yeah, that's hard.
the attempt is to try to get as much focus on us as well. I've thought about that so deeply, of how to create as interactive, and I think my goals in terms of keeping the chat a little bit more invested in the longer sense of staying consistent and continuing, is as more people are here to react, that will drive one more thing to pull the eyesight away from, and that will happen on other platforms as well, and that will in itself hopefully allow one extra thing. The slow and steady, I think there's going to be some spots where we're like, what do we, you know, but I think it's amazing that all of us are willing to do everything and anything possible to make this work at its best. I think that's probably like the best thing out of this, is the consistent positive collaboration for the better.
I agree.
Yeah, we need it, and there's many other people that do, as whether they realize it or not. So I think once we get that core audience into listening to the message and then interacting, I think that'll be an amazing thing. So,
100%. I think that's and that's what making slow changes to everything will keep it foundational, you know, and will allow consistency for even the audience of what they're going to expect as well. And from that, you grow a good base, and it'll just continue to get, you know, the ingredients in the soup. You keep calibrating, right? And then it just becomes this easier for us too, right? Because as soon as we feel more natural, that will definitely help the visuals to everybody else.
Exactly.
And that just comes with time, right? Like your first live to your 10th live to your 100th to your 1000th, right? They're going to be completely different comfort levels, just which gives a totally different atmosphere.
Yeah, and right now is the honeymoon phase, right? We're all excited about it. So if it ever gets to the point where it's stale, we need to make sure that we have that conversation so that it's not like a horrible breakup that's all messy and highly publicized.
We better stay at the beach and not get sunburned.
Yeah, I promise to do the dishes and take the trash out when you ask. Like, it won't take me 6 months.
I'll pick up after myself and I'll clean the floor.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
promise.
Yeah. Well, we're all guys, so it won't matter which way the toilet seat is. So, well, we got that one ruled out.
I pee things down. I don't know about you.
That's going to trigger people.
From afar. No, I want to say to everyone, this is the important part of this all, right? Is working through this and building something, right? Building something for everyone. That's the exciting part, because this is really for us, for everyone to see. You know, that's the root of it, and I think that's lovely.
I think that's lovely too. And it shows growth on all of our ends too, right? As we go and each time we do this, we grow a little bit.
Oh, 100%.
It's not a light
This time, you know?
Oh, I'm so sorry, but you just brought in the opportunity there. I don't normally respond to chats, but
like the fact that we are already committed to streaming and interacting with our core group and new people, and we're also committing to doing this 3 different segments of like this platform coming together and then dedicating this time on a Sunday morning to address this topic and others, and willing to spend the time outside of this time to work on ideas to grow it is like, how many times do you see that happen on platforms like this? It's usually everybody for themselves, and
that's part of my frustration lately has been on this app, right? Is everyone, I feel the weight everyone's had, but that you can't fight, you can't fend with your back to the corner with everyone, not on this atmosphere. And it pains me to see everyone continuing to spread thinner and thinner, because your force of reason continues to dwindle, and to try to pop up your own pyramid to push, well, that guy didn't do enough, and then this, and so, it's sticking together for the right reasons, and that's the beauty of this. It's that.
I guess one of the other things I'm kind of concerned about is like doing my own lives is like, for example, not saying that you would, Zen, but I'm saying like, let's say one of our regulars in here comes and hangs out with me even though you're live, and then now I'm live, and now they're splitting their time. Which means that's one of the other reasons why I haven't gone live too, is because I'm afraid that I don't want to harm anybody. Like, that's never my intention, and I don't ever want that to feel that way across anybody. But that is a thought that's come across my mind several times about that. Is like, I don't want to steal anyone's group, and I also don't want to cause any harm by that.
I still say, if I'm not someone's real, if I'm not the spice that someone likes all the time, they're gonna go find, and that's the beauty of humans as well, right? We're always seeking to do just a little better and a little more. As much as that can be toxic, that keeps us growing, right? And I feel that on a personal level, but
that's the beauty of choice, though. At the same time, right?
that's part of it, where I celebrate the let people have that like, to me that shows how good of a creator you would be if people don't feel pressured to be around you and can divide their time if they so feel, and don't feel like the hammer will be dropped on them because, oh, you're over in another person's, you're at my buddy's house all the time instead of at my house. Wait, what? You're at my buddy's house, like you're in the like, it's you can't be mad at someone for choosing what they should or shouldn't enjoy. I think that's the hardest thing to translate as a creator to others. I want everyone to be happy and feel free. Of course, we all need our support, but if you're supporting me, like dumping your cup out, that's against what I stand for.
Fair. I wanted to voice that because that is something that's been bothering me ever since starting on TikTok. Like being here as a supporter is like, well, how do I divide up my time without making people upset? And then I kind of just gave up on that and went like, you know what, I'm going to go with who I want to support and not, be mad that somebody might get upset that I'm not there. You know what I mean? So, but I feel the same way for the opposite end of that too. Like I don't want to be live and then, oh no, like this person came over here and like hung out with me for a little bit because they liked what I was talking about, but then pulled away from someone else.
I think that opens up a whole can. Like I'm sure that there's lots of people that feel like that.
That's one topic I wanted to bring up next week. That's why I started it here at the end, is because I wanted to bring it up so we could all fester about that kind of idea and maybe bring it up as a topic next week.
Cool. Okay. I'll leave it alone for now then, because man, we can go on forever on that.
I was just gonna say that can open a can. Yeah, that just opened a can of worms there, buddy.
It did.
Love it.
Nice segue, sir.
No, it's been great. Everybody that's shown up, big shout out to everyone that came. Having an audience is important to us. It's supposed to be a no pressure, but it does matter that you all spent the time to listen. By choice to be here for yourself or to be nice, to be here for us, or a bit of both, and however that ratio mixes, it's very, very appreciated on all levels.
And if you'd like to know more about this topic that we just discussed at the end of the chat, tune in next week.
Exactly. Everyone, I'm gonna leave the poster pinned in my profile. I'm gonna leave it. It'll be along the top 3, just so everyone knows. By Wednesday every week, is my goal to always have the event up for the following week. I would just, remind yourself that for everyone listening, in order to have this as a success, to continue to share the message out to everyone else that may need to hear it, helps the cause. It's a big deal to all of us. And so I think it was amazing that everybody showed up. Like, I think it's an excellent thing. Mm-hmm. And I really hope everybody enjoyed.
And I don't think it could have gone any better, because like the fact that we didn't have to direct the chat to just interact with each other, they just did, even though we weren't paying attention to them. The odd time we would, take note of what was said if it was pertinent in some way. But like we don't have to say that. Like, we're not ignoring you on purpose. We're just focusing on this. They just carried on the chat and said what needed to be said at the right time. It's like,
yeah,
couldn't ask for any better.
No, I really couldn't. It's been a great way to start my day. A great, nice, relaxing Sundays, just so everyone knows, I don't know if Mondays is your new week or Sundays, but Sundays is my new week. And so that's the other thing that I think it's, I start my brand new week off with a very, very healthy base to remind myself of, because I do spend a lot of time live, and it's really important. It's really important. It doesn't get enough attention. It really doesn't. It never has. And we're gonna do our best to really continue to share this message out. Thank you again to everybody. Thanks to the dad. Thanks to Bite Boss. Thanks for being here with me too, because this is an important thing to me that I can't do alone. you need a lot of people to band together to do something like this. And so to have you two is huge.
Well, we appreciate you too. I'm sure I speak for everybody in the chat that came over from my group because they've come to see you a bunch, and we appreciate you as well. We couldn't do it without you hosting. So make sure everybody, if you haven't gone to follow Zen or go look at his content and Bite Boss, go do so.
And, you know, without these chats, I've learned stuff both times so far.
Yeah.
And also given me understanding or a different train of thought both times. And I appreciate both of you for that. And I respect you both. Your opinions matter to me. And I'm just starting out, which is fine. But it gives me a lot of insight and a lot of understanding. So I appreciate you both for that. And everyone in the chat that comes, like, you know, there's been comments in there that have made me smile. I don't know if you guys have noticed, or I smirk here and there because I actually get to read a comment and then it just makes me laugh on a topic. And I appreciate everyone that's in here for that as well.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Well done.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We're going to cut the live here. Everyone have a lovely day. Keep smiling. Spread some love and joy to everybody. Appreciate y'all.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take care.
Have a great day. Bye, everyone.